Ever get that feeling as you hit your 40s and 50s like, things are changing a bit?
Oh, tell me about it.
You start wondering what health things you should actually be keeping an eye on.
Right, right.
Well, that's exactly what we're diving deep into today.
Awesome.
We've been digging into this book called The Midlife Health Manifesto, Uncover the Secrets to Thriving at 50 and Beyond.
Okay.
And the goal here is to cut through all the noise,
Yeah.
and get to the real deal, the crucial health check-ins that actually make a difference in how you feel, how you function at this
Yeah.
stage of life.
Yeah.
It's not about accepting some inevitable decline.
Nope.
It's about taking proactive steps to really have a vibrant future. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I love that.
So it seems like this book really pushes the idea that regular check-ins are kind of less of an option and more like a necessity, even if you feel perfectly fine at this moment. So why is that so important, that proactive stance?
That's a great question. And you know what's really fascinating about midlife is that, well, you might have these subtle changes happening
Uh-huh.
and you might not feel them right away.
Oh, okay.
But these little things can actually be early warnings, of potential issues down the road.
Oh, I see.
So by being proactive, by getting those checkups,
Yeah.
you're essentially catching things early on when interventions, when you can actually do something about it.
Right.
It's much more effective.
Gotcha.
It's about, building a solid foundation for your health that's going to support you for years to come,
Right.
rather than like waiting for things to go wrong and then scrambling to react.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So the book jumps right into a big one, and that is cardiovascular health.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
It doesn't sugarcoat it. It says straight up, heart disease is still the leading cause of death for men.
Right.
That definitely gets your attention, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's a wake-up call for sure.
So it really makes you think about those regular checkups, keeping an eye on things like blood pressure,
Yeah.
cholesterol levels, your heart rate.
Very important.
All of these are really key indicators of how well your cardiovascular system is working, right?
Exactly.
With high blood pressure, for example, you often don't even have any symptoms.
Right. That's the tricky part.
But over time, it can really increase your risk of some serious stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Heart attack, stroke.
It's a silent threat.
Yeah, exactly.
And cholesterol, understanding your cholesterol profile,
Yeah.
that helps identify if there's any, buildup of plaque in your arteries.
Oh, okay.
It's all
Right.
connected.
So the book actually recommends going a step further, seeing a cardiologist every year.
Interesting.
Now, for someone who feels perfectly healthy, that might seem a bit much, right?
I can see that, yeah.
What's the thinking behind taking that more specialized approach?
So, while your regular doctor is fantastic for general health,
Yeah.
a cardiologist, they're specialists. They focus on the heart and blood vessels specifically.
Right.
They have that extra level of expertise to really do a deep dive, and spot those subtle changes in your cardiovascular system
Right.
that might not be so obvious during a regular checkup.
Nice.
Think of it like if you have a problem with your car,
Right.
you're going to take it to a mechanic that specializes in that specific issue, right?
Right. A specialist.
Yeah, exactly. And as we get older, that annual check-in with a cardiologist can be like that specialized care for your heart.
Yeah,
It's an extra layer of attention to a really critical system in our body.
Yeah, I mean, it keeps us going, right?
It really does.
Yeah.
And, early detection,
Yeah.
even for those minor things, it can lead to simple lifestyle changes or, interventions
Right.
that can really prevent those bigger problems down the line.
Sure.
It's worth it.
Okay, so the next thing this manifesto talks about is metabolic syndrome awareness.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
It sounds a bit like a catch-all term, honestly.
It does, a little bit.
What's the key takeaway here, you think?
Okay, so think about it like this.
You're right.
As we age, right,
Yeah.
our bodies, they might not be as efficient at processing, sugars and fats.
Okay.
And that can lead to a bunch of issues.
Uh-huh.
High blood sugar, high blood pressure,
Right.
unhealthy cholesterol levels,
Yeah.
and that extra, belly fat.
Sure.
And all of those together,
Mm-hmm.
they increase your risk for some serious conditions.
No, like what?
Diabetes, heart disease.
Oh, okay.
And that's basically what metabolic syndrome is. It's this cluster of things.
I see.
And the manifesto, it really emphasizes those regular blood sugar tests.
Okay.
Even if you don't have, obvious symptoms,
Right.
It's all about getting that baseline
Mm-hmm.
and spotting those trends early on if things start creeping up.
So it's not just about the test itself, is it?
No, not at all.
It's really about how closely metabolic health is tied to our lifestyle choices.
Exactly. Yeah,
What we eat, how much we exercise, all of that.
absolutely. And going back to that slowing metabolism we talked about,
Yeah.
maintaining a healthy weight
Yeah.
through, a balanced diet,
Right.
regular exercise.
Yeah.
It becomes even more crucial in midlife.
Right.
It's not just about feeling good, although that's important too.
Sure.
This is about really mitigating those risks associated with metabolic syndrome.
So these are really important tools, basically.
Absolutely, they're essential tools in your toolbox.
Mm-hmm.
For example, regular exercise
Yeah.
helps your body use insulin better.
Mm.
And that's key in preventing type 2 diabetes.
Right.
And your diet,
Yeah.
eating lots of whole foods,
Yeah.
less processed stuff, less sugar.
Right.
That directly impacts your blood sugar and cholesterol levels.
So it all works together.
All connected, yeah.
All right, let's move on to something that I know is on a lot of men's minds as they get older, and that is prostate health.
Yeah, that's a big one.
The manifesto points to prostate cancer as a serious concern.
Rightly so.
So, what should men be aware of here?
So prostate cancer is definitely a major health issue for men in this age group, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And the manifesto, it points out that those screening recommendations, they're not always so clear-cut. They
Okay.
can vary based on your age, your family history, your overall health, all sorts of factors.
So it's not one size fits all?
Exactly. It's not a one-size-fits-all situation.
Yep.
But one thing it does recommend specifically
Okay.
is that men over 50 or anyone with a family history of prostate cancer
Right.
should really talk to their doctor
Uh-huh.
about the PSA test.
Okay, and what is that exactly?
So PSA stands for prostate-specific antigen.
Right.
It's a blood test. And it can help detect prostate cancer early on in some cases.
Okay.
But it's important to have that conversation with your doctor.
Yeah.
Weigh the pros and cons.
So it's not just a blanket recommendation to get tested every year.
No, it's more nuanced than that.
Okay, so why is that?
Well, the PSA test, while it can be helpful,
Yeah.
it can also sometimes give false positives.
Oh, I see.
And that can lead to, unnecessary anxiety
Right.
and even invasive procedures.
So it's a bit of a balancing act.
It is. It really
Yeah.
is. So the decision of whether to do the PSA test
Mm-hmm.
and when to start doing it,
Yeah.
it's a personal one.
Right.
And you should make that decision together with your doctor.
You and your doctor working together.
Exactly. You need to weigh the potential benefits, of early detection
Yeah.
against those potential risks.
Okay.
Overdiagnosis, overtreatment,
Right.
based on your own individual risk factors and
Yeah.
your preferences.
Yeah.
So the manifesto, I think it makes a good point. It emphasizes that this should be a shared decision.
You and your doctor.
Absolutely.
Now, this next topic, I think it's becoming more and more recognized as just a fundamental part of our overall well-being,
I agree.
especially as we navigate midlife.
Yeah.
And that's mental health.
So important.
The manifesto really emphasizes that this time of life can bring its own unique emotional challenges.
It really can.
And conditions like depression and anxiety,
Mhm.
they're more common than we might realize and
Mhm.
often go unaddressed, particularly in men.
Yeah, that's a problem.
So why do you think these regular mental health check-ins are so important?
It's about normalizing these conversations,
Yeah.
taking away the stigma
Right.
and recognizing that asking for help
Yeah.
when you need it,
Mm-hmm.
it's a sign of strength.
It's not weakness.
Exactly. It's self-awareness.
Yeah.
Just like we keep tabs on our physical health,
Uh-huh.
we got to be in tune with our emotional state as well.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, the manifesto actually mentions a specific expert here, Dr. Jed Diamond.
Oh, yes. I know his work.
He's well known for his work on men's health
Mhm.
and his book, The Irritable Male Syndrome.
Yeah. Very insightful.
And the manifesto really highlights his advocacy for recognizing those emotional changes as a key part of overall health in midlife.
Absolutely. He's been a real pioneer in this area.
So what's so important about his work, would you say?
Dr. Diamond's work, it's been so influential in helping us understand
Yeah.
the emotional landscape for men in midlife.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always easy,
No, it's not.
And what's fascinating is this idea that those feelings, of irritability, fatigue,
Right.
maybe even feeling a bit disconnected.
Yeah, like something's off.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you're just not yourself.
Right. And it's not just about getting older or
Right.
being stressed.
For sure, although that plays a role.
Of course. But these feelings can be signs of, deeper emotional issues
Okay.
that need attention.
Right.
And the manifesto, by bringing up Dr. Diamond,
Yeah.
it's really reinforcing that message. These
Mhm.
emotional shifts, they're real.
Yeah.
They matter.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't ignore them.
We can't just brush them under the rug.
Exactly. Addressing them proactively can make a huge difference in your overall well-being.
I agree.
Yeah, it's important.
Absolutely. Ignoring your mental health can have a ripple effect on everything else in your life.
Oh, absolutely.
Your physical health, relationships, work, everything.
It's all connected.
Okay, the final key area that the manifesto dives into is hormonal changes,
Okay.
particularly that natural decline in testosterone levels as men age.
Interesting.
Now, this is a natural process,
It is absolutely a normal physiological process.
but the book points out that it can have some noticeable effects
Right. It can definitely impact how you feel.
on a lot of things, actually.
Yeah, like what?
Your mood, your energy levels,
Oh, okay.
muscle mass, even your libido.
I see.
So what does it recommend?
So, the manifesto suggests getting a comprehensive hormone panel done.
Okay.
That can give you some really valuable insights into whether, there are any significant imbalances
Right.
that might be contributing to these changes
I see.
and affecting your quality of life.
Okay. And once you have that information, what then?
Well, then you have options.
Okay. Like what?
It could be lifestyle adjustments
Right.
or, in some cases, medical interventions.
So it's about understanding what's happening inside your body
Exactly. It's about getting that internal picture.
and then seeing what you can do about it.
Right. It's not about chasing some, ideal testosterone
Yeah.
level,
Yeah.
but about figuring out if your hormone levels are actually causing problems.
Right. If they're behind those unwanted symptoms.
Exactly. And then you can explore, evidence-based strategies with your doctor, of course,
Of course, always with your doctor.
to optimize your hormonal health and ultimately your overall well-being.
So we've covered a lot about specific health areas.
We have. It's been quite a journey.
Now, the manifesto throws in what it calls a mind-blowing fact.
Oh, I love those.
Men who stay active in their 50s are more likely to outlive their sedentary counterparts by a decade.
Wow, 10 years.
10 years. That's a huge
So-
difference.
That's incredible. It really highlights the impact of our lifestyle choices,
Yeah, those choices we make every day.
And the manifesto really makes a good point.
What's that?
It's not just about adding years to your life.
Right.
It's about the quality of those years,
Yeah, that's important.
maintaining your physical function,
Mm-hmm.
staying mentally sharp,
Yeah.
overall vitality.
That's a pretty compelling reason to stay active, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It's a powerful motivator.
It definitely makes you think about your daily habits.
It does, for sure.
And along with those more, standard health recommendations,
Yeah.
the manifesto has a couple of out-of-the-box tips
Okay. I'm intrigued.
that I found pretty insightful.
Let's hear them.
The first one is to embrace mindfulness practices, things like meditation or yoga.
Interesting. So how does that fit in?
Well, there's a growing understanding of how strongly connected our minds and bodies are.
Oh, absolutely.
And these practices, they're not just about relaxing. They actually have real physical benefits.
Like what?
They can reduce stress hormones,
Okay.
improve your focus, and even have a positive impact on your cardiovascular health.
Wow, I didn't realize it was so powerful.
So, given all the potential emotional challenges of midlife,
Right.
incorporating mindfulness
Yeah.
can be a really valuable tool
Makes sense.
for managing stress and just boosting your overall well-being.
Yeah, I like that.
And the second unexpected tip is about prioritizing your social connections.
Social connections. Okay.
Yeah, like actively engaging in your community,
Right.
joining social clubs, things like that.
Interesting. I wouldn't necessarily think of that as a health check-in.
But the manifesto makes a really good point.
What's that?
It's about a crucial aspect of health that we often underestimate,
I mean, that is
our social connections.
Oh, right.
Strong social networks, they give us emotional support.
Mhm.
They help us combat feelings of isolation.
Yeah, that's so important.
And they can actually influence our physical health in positive ways.
Interesting.
So engaging with others,
Yeah.
sharing experiences,
Right.
feeling like you belong.
It's all part of it.
All of that can buffer against stress and really contribute to our overall happiness and well-being as we age.
I'm seeing the connections now.
It's a reminder that we're not just, biological beings. We're
Right.
social creatures.
We need each other.
Yeah, and those connections are so important for our health.
You really are.
It's really a holistic view of health.
It is. It goes beyond just checking those physical boxes.
Exactly. So as we wrap up our deep dive into the Midlife Health Manifesto,
Okay.
what would you say is the most important takeaway for our listeners?
You know, after going through all of this, the core message for me is that midlife,
Mm-hmm.
it's not about some inevitable decline.
Right.
It's actually a huge opportunity
Yeah.
to take charge of your health.
To be proactive.
Exactly. And by prioritizing those essential health check-ins,
All the things we talked about.
from cardiovascular and metabolic health to prostate health, mental health, hormonal well-being,
It's a lot to keep track of.
it is, but it's important.
Yeah.
And by embracing a lifestyle,
Mm.
with physical activity,
Yeah.
mindfulness practices,
Yeah.
nurturing those social connections,
Mm-hmm.
you're actively shaping a future.
A future where you thrive.
Exactly, a future where you thrive with confidence and vitality.
It's empowering, isn't it?
It is. It's about taking the driver's seat in your health journey.
I love that, taking the driver's seat.
It's your life. You're in control.
So we've really delved into those crucial health areas for men in midlife.
We have. We've covered a lot of ground.
And remember, those proactive check-ins
Yeah, don't skip those.
and the choices you make every day,
Absolutely.
they have a huge impact on your long-term well-being.
They really do.
And remember that mind-blowing fact.
Oh, yeah, the 10 years.
An active lifestyle could add a whole decade to your life.
That's powerful.
It really makes you think, doesn't it?
It does. It really does.
So here's a question for you, our listener.
Okay.
What's one small but significant change you can make today?
That's a good question.
It could be about your activity levels,
Right.
what you eat,
Yeah.
or even your social connections. What can you commit to
Right now.
that will put you on the path toward greater vitality and longevity?
It doesn't have to be a huge, overwhelming change.
No, just one small step.
But even a small conscious step in the right direction can make all the difference.
Food for thought.
It is. It really is.
And that's it for our deep dive today.
Thanks for having me.
It was great having you. Always a pleasure.
Likewise. See you next time.